vetted bench. Just a little bit of housekeeping before we go ahead and get started. You'll notice that we're using Microsoft Teams today. Up in your toolbar, you'll have controls for your volume, as well as there's a little chat feature. It looks like a talking cloud. If you click on that, you'll be able to ask questions as well as answer any of the survey questions and things like that we're going to have during the conversation. So just a little bit about the Diversity Consortium. It's our mission to make a measurable difference in the supplier diversity landscape. And what that means is we are here to provide services to help the diverse business find, win, and succeed. We've recognized that there are many diverse and disadvantaged businesses. Collectively, we're going to call those XBEs because honestly, there isn't a good term. You know, a DBE, the disadvantaged business enterprise as defined by the government, excludes the LGBTQ community, and that's just not acceptable to us. So we're going to use XBE to be able to describe to be an all-inclusive term for disadvantaged and diverse businesses. And it's our mission to help those businesses succeed and win more work. So we are comprised of 25 service providers, and our service providers provide all sorts of services both to corporations who are looking for businesses like you to make sure that they've got the strategy, make sure that they have the onboarding and the resources to manage business, as well as from an XBE perspective to mentor, coach, train, develop, and even provide capital. So if you were to look at our service lines, you'll see that there's a roughly equal split. On the left-hand side are those services that we offer to the corporations, as well as on the right-hand side to the XBEs. And let me assure you, we have a lot of corporations that are looking for folks like yourself, and that's what we're going to talk about today. So we've got a handful of partners that all operate in this space. And as you see among that, we're going to talk today about the XBE development, specifically around what we're calling the vetted bench, the tiered vetted bench. So to that point, I guess I'd like to start off with a question, if you will. Are you winning the awards you believe you should from corporate clients? And it's not that do you have corporate clients, it's do you feel you're getting your share? Do you feel like you're being heard? Do you feel like not only are you able to bid, but you're also winning your fair share of those awards? And I'd like to hear your thoughts. So if you could go ahead up on that little chat window there, and if you could go ahead and type in your answer. And it's okay if you're typing, and I'm going to keep moving on. But please, we're really interested in understanding if you feel like you're getting your fair shake. That being said, I am absolutely pleased and thrilled to welcome you all to Randall Dobbins, who is clearly a subject matter expert on this topic. And Randall, if you could just take a moment or two to introduce yourself.
Thanks, Rob, and welcome everyone. We're glad you're here. We appreciate you taking time from your day to tune into this exciting topic. And actually, quite frankly, understanding a bit more about how to get a bigger book of business or increase your sales with your large corporate clients. My name is Randall Dobbins. I am the founder and president of Diversity Works. We have been in business for over 17 years, looking to close the skills gap between XBEs and your larger competitors so that you actually land more contracts. Just that simple. And we have been around since about 2004. We've trained thousands of companies on what it takes to do this, more of an education perspective, and really and truly just put you in position to discover what you don't know so that you can create what you haven't yet imagined. This is a winnable game. A number of XBEs have billion-dollar, multi-billion-dollar companies, and from our point of view, there's absolutely no reason why you can't as well. So we're just here to help support you in doing that. Our agenda for today is to walk through the XBE landscape, the state of corporate diversity programs, and we're going to come at that a little bit indirectly. We're going to talk about top challenges to XBEs to land more contracts, and then we're going to talk about how do you ultimately improve your corporate visibility.
Awesome. I'm excited. Let's go.
All righty then. So let's start off a little bit with the national picture. And Rob, feel free to weigh in here if you like. What I will share with everyone, what I really want you to take away from this slide is that there are a number of XBEs out there. I mean, my goodness. You can look at each one of those categories and you can see how many are out there. But the problem is not that many are certified. An inadequate number are certified. And I know because I get this from folks that come through my training. They're like, well, I don't want to be certified. I don't want to know. I don't want to be recognized because I'm a certified company. I want to be able to compete on my own 2 feet and not have to go through all that other kind of stuff. And what I'm going to tell you right now is good news. Being certified is not going to get you a contract. So you don't have to worry about that. All right. What being certified is going to do, and that's kind of the point of this slide, being certified, one, helps you to get visibility that your competition and other folks can't get. All right. And then secondly, all things being equal, if you have a competitively priced product, if you have competitively configured service levels and whatnot, being certified can be a huge tiebreaker for you. So it's like, wait a minute, if I can get greater visibility because I'm certified and it's a tiebreaker, somebody walk me through why I wouldn't be certified. And oh, by the way, I still maintain the right to not tell people I'm certified. Not that I would ever do that, but.
You're absolutely right, Randall. And I get asked that all the time from corporations. I have access to all of these different organizations. Why can't I find the businesses I'm looking for? And that's what we're going to talk about today is how do we increase that visibility and how do I get noticed if I'm not certified, or even if I am, how do I differentiate? I'll tell you that, I think of this much like I do when an organization posts a job on Indeed. You post a job and all of a sudden you get 1,000 applicants. And oh my goodness, are you able to really look at 1,000 applicants? And maybe you read the first 50, maybe you read the first couple hundred. You're probably not looking at all 1,000. And that's the difference. So however you do it, if you get certified, it's going to help you stand out, and you're going to become, in this example, for real, the 1%. That will help you with your visibility if a business is trying to find you. But even if you are certified, it's possible that you're still going to be one among others that also have similar skill sets. And how do you stand out, right? And so that's what we need to talk about.
Go ahead, Rob.
So from that perspective, Randall, tell me about what are the biggest problems that you see from a company's perspective on what are the challenges they're facing?
Well, I want to zero in on precisely what you just mentioned, Rob. When we start looking at the top problems for small business owners, obviously post ACA and a lot of the changes that are coming across right now, we've got decisions to make. And the pandemic, we've got decisions on providing health care for our employees. Let me go to the third one. The rising cost of business with the supply chain shortage that we're seeing, inflation, and a whole host of things. Just getting people, with the worker shortage, getting people. And of course, we always have the regulatory issue between local, state, and federal taxes. How do we make sure we're compliant? And a couple of other things. But I want to go back to the second one right here, this attracting new customers. And this goes back to the conversation that we were just having, that the second greatest challenge for a small business right now is attracting new customers, in which case the question then becomes, what is our visibility? Who knows we're out there? Who knows what we're doing? What have we done to differentiate ourselves to make us more attractive to a new customer relative to our competitors? And so with that introduces the conversation that we wanted to have with you today about the tiered vetted bench.
Awesome. So tell me, what does this mean? I see Olympic medals here, but tell me what does this mean?
Well, I think I'm going to set this up by way of analogy. A number of us we have to deal with IT in our business. So when you think about Microsoft has a program where people in the IT space go out and they become Microsoft certified. You can be gold certified or platinum certified as a Microsoft partner. And basically, what that means is Microsoft has gone through a process of vetting a lot of suppliers so that when these people go out into the marketplace, you have some sense of their capabilities, their skills, their capacity, and the impact that they can make to your business. We find that that's common as well in other types of industries where, if you're in labor, in the labor hourly labor group, you have your apprentices, and then you have your journeymen, and the point being that a lot of effort has gone into assuring that there's a certain skill level, a certain capability, a certain viability that a company has so that you can understand what quality of work or what caliber of work or what kind of background have they gone through in order to understand if they can do the job that you have on hand. So what we're talking about with the tiered vetted bench is in order to increase your visibility to corporations, is there some process that you've gone through that helps to differentiate you from everybody else that's out there?
Boy, that would be nice if there was. This way you could take that whole pool of 1,000 and help me pare it down and say, this is what I'm looking for. If there was only such a thing.
Oh, absolutely. And I love your analogy of resumes. I mean, imagine those of us, right here on this call, you have to hire someone. You go out to a service like Indeed or one of these companies. My goodness, you can even go on LinkedIn and you post an opening, and it's like, oh my goodness, you get 100, you get 1,000, you get 1,500 hits, and you just sit back and you go, wow. It's going to take me anywhere from 2 to 15 minutes to read through each one of those to see what's going on. And 4 or 5 days later, I may have just gotten through the first batch for the ones that came in on that day. And I'm nowhere near getting this down to 10 or 15 some odd folks that I can then screen to figure out who I wanted to interview, who I wanted to pre-screen. And then once I got that list down to figure out who I might open up for team interviews within my company. Now, imagine if you are a corporate buyer, how many people have input their information into your database? How many people are trying to track you down at a networking event? They have that same process. The number of people that are filling out and responding to a RFP, they have the same issue of trying to figure out who's vetted, who's qualified, and who's not.
I got to tell you, that is a concern that I hear all the time from corporations. We have a portal, but we get all of these businesses that come, and then I have to sort through them, and I just don't know which ones of them are real and which ones of them are just not able to meet my needs. And so from a corporate perspective, they're looking for this exact thing in reverse. They want to say, help me find just the ones that are going to meet my needs, not the ones that are not able to meet my needs. But I don't have time to go through 1,000 of them.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. So hopefully we've given you a good preview right now of why being vetted is important, and give you a sense of how it can increase your visibility and what it means in terms of your ability to land contracts faster, quite frankly, with the Fortune 500 and up to the Fortune 1000. What I want to do right now is kind of go through these individually for you to kind of take a look at what it is that is going on with the vetting. What it's like, you might be saying, okay, Randall, what is this vetting? What's involved? What's included? And how long is it going to take me to do this kind of thing? And what we're talking about right now is, your initiation to bronze. What we're saying is the steps that are involved was looking at whether or not you're certified, and we would understand if you're certified with the Big Five, WBENC, NMSDC, Diversity in the Gay Lesbian Chamber, and I'm missing one.
The veterans.
The veterans, yes. And then we'll take a look at your commercial business risk and we'll evaluate that against a key metric there. And then we'll look at your readiness and your capacity to make sure that we can help you to understand how compatible your systems are with Fortune 500 systems so that you have a good idea of how easy a pick you are for them. And for bronze, what you can look at is about 11 hours of your time to pull information together and go through the process. That 11 hours is what it will require for you to pull paperwork together, not necessarily for you to cross the finish line on this, specifically around certification. That's kind of a function of how long it takes for the Big Five to complete their evaluation and their process. So that's what we have with bronze.
Got it. So tell me about silver. I understand bronze.
All right. Well, silver is everything in bronze. Okay. Plus, and you get a car, and you get plus the a big issue right now, and this is something that came from the government space, but it's becoming more widely necessary in the private sector space, is capability statements. And you would be surprised how many companies don't have them, never had them, and don't really understand what it is. And so it turns out this is one of those things that you don't want to go and get a template on the internet. You want somebody that actually knows how to work with you to put the right information available, so that in one page of a Fortune 500 or a Fortune 1000 can assess, who you are, what you're about, what your strengths are, and what you can do for them. And that is a structured format in order to get that done. But you get the capability statement. And obviously, you know this, anytime you go into any of the databases, they want you to provide references. But above and beyond that, you will have third-party verification of your actual references. So the idea here is that you'll have validated and documented 2 references that meet the specific requirements that Fortune 500s are looking for. So that's actually pretty strong if you start thinking about, okay, if I'm a corporate buyer and I have this information that I'm looking at from an XBE, how much does that increase the chances that I'm like, I need to call them in?
Yep, absolutely. And I would assume it's a similar process for silver, from silver to gold?
So from gold, you have everything that's included in bronze, everything that's included in silver. But we throw in this case, quite a bit more. We need to understand in this case, or help you to develop what your corporate strategy is, because what you have to understand is corporations, in some cases, they're looking at you in terms of what you can do for them today, but the really, really progressive, smart ones is they want to make sure that they're bringing people in that can handle the contract of today and tomorrow. And so they need to understand whether or not you actually have some viability, and they can assess that based on, do you have a corporate strategy that is in alignment with the needs of their organization? And then there's an additional level of business and financial assessment that goes on. And the benefit of this particular business and financial assessment to you, the XBE, is that it helps you to potentially start making decisions around what the growth of the company looks like. At some point, potentially positioning for an exit strategy so you can leave something behind to your loved ones or whatever's important to you. And that you really and truly are getting the business on a stronger footing on an ongoing basis. You'll also get some help making sure that your marketing, that you have access to one marketing platform. There's a consult that goes on there to pick which one makes the most sense for your business initially. but to make sure that you've got your messaging and your customer avatar well defined and a whole host of things, so that when people start doing due diligence on you, you know precisely what messaging that they're getting about your business. And then once again, we're going to go ahead and increase your references from 2 to 5 as we go from silver to gold. And that will take about 34 hours of your time to do all of this. But as you can see, as you go to the different levels, you're revealing to a Fortune 1000 quite a bit more. You are really and truly differentiating yourself that you have these things in place.
You're 100% right. And I see, like, even on the risk assessment, you went from, one category of risk to 6 categories of risk. So I could see how, as you climb the hierarchy here, you're exposing yourself, that you're demonstrating that you're much more capable and more proven. It doesn't necessarily mean you're more capable, it just means you're more proven at each of these higher levels to the corporate perspective.
Yeah, and for those of us that are homeowners, this is almost like figuring out the electrician coming to the house. It's like, who all do I want to come in the house, and how long are they going to be there? And are they bonded, and do they have a resume, and do they have customer references, and how long have they been doing this? And is it a 1 or 2 person crew? I mean, we do this ourselves as business owners.
You're absolutely right. We absolutely do that. And so then I would imagine Platinum, does Platinum add more things?
Platinum definitely adds more things, and Platinum is our top tier, and let me get to that real quick.
Hidden slide, that's why it's there.
All right. So let me briefly just walk through Platinum for everyone.
All right, so maybe I could help here. I am going to share my screen.
All righty. I think I have Platinum up if my screen is still up.
There we go.
All right, and with Platinum, what you will see is 8 categories of risk in the risk assessment. And where that becomes important is the more categories of risk that you identify, the lower the resistance to a Fortune 500 doing business with you. We will begin to overlap their internal vetting as well, and you have the confidence of knowing that you understand what it is that they're going to assess you, how they're going to assess you, and that you've addressed any of those issues beforehand before you even start speaking with them. But in addition to that, you start looking at 2 marketing platforms. You start looking at a scalable model for moving the business forward. You have up to 10 documented references. And then you start looking at, especially once you get to this level, companies want to see not only are you an XBE, but what are you doing to support diversity and inclusion. So there's a conversation around what are you currently doing and opportunities in your business to continue to ensure that the benefits of doing business with XBEs are realized at every different level. And some of them will want to know your abilities to support them with their diverse spend tracking. And so looking at whether or not you have a tracking program within your organization. And you can start to see at the Platinum level, depending on the market that you're currently in, that sure enough, what you see right here at the Platinum is pretty much a lot of what your larger competitors are doing. The difference between them and you is that you went through Platinum vetting. This is documented and this is represented to the corporations by a third party, that this is something that you have gone through, which is really strong. Just so you know that's part of this process.
Boy, this would help so much if I had this for the 1,000 applicants for a job posting, but Boy, I could see how this would really help a company. So now a company could determine what kind of filtering they would want to apply and then only start at a certain level and say, show me companies that only meet these criteria. What a great concept.
Absolutely, absolutely. And for platinum, it's going to be a bit over a full FTE week. I mean, this will go over a time period, but if you're trying to figure out how much time in your organization you'd want to devote to this, 55 hours is probably about the right. It's probably on the high end. If you have a good bit of your documentation together, you've got people who know where you currently are, you can pull things together. 55 hours is probably on the high end of the amount of time that you would expect to be able to get this done.
Wow, that's great. So tell me, what do we have to do to be successful? This clearly seems like one of them. Tell me more.
Well, one of the things we talked about was challenges that corporations have and problems in the supplier diversity or the XBE space. And this may seem like a simple summary of the issues, but I really want you to think about this and write this down, that when we talk to corporations about some of the challenges that they have with XBEs, it generally boils down to three things. Number one, they say that XBEs don't know the corporation's business. Okay. And if you think about that, what do you know about Amazon, really, other than going onto their marketplace? What do you really know about their business? Okay. What do you know about their logistics business, their ability to source suppliers, their ability to meet a next day turnaround for Prime members, about all the different things that they curate between video and books and all, well, what do you really know about that, grocery and so forth? The second thing they talk about is XBEs don't know their industry. Stick with Amazon again. What do we know about Amazon's industry? Have we ever thought about it? Do we ever need to think about it? Now, if we're selling into that, we should, okay? And then the third thing that they say is a failure condition for XBEs is that they're not confident that XBEs can handle the contract if awarded, and they can't afford to bring suppliers on that can't perform. And that's why this vetting is huge, because at least now they have something tangible that speaks to some minimum standard that someone chose to submit themselves to in order to assure somebody that they're ready to play.
Yep, got it. That's awesome. Thank you.
Certainly.
So the next is, what are corporates focused on? Why are corporates focused on XBE success? And I guess I'd like to hear your thoughts, and then I'll chime in a little if it's okay.
Absolutely, absolutely. And what I really want people to know right now is what I would tell people is 30 years ago, 70% of the reason why you weren't getting a corporate contract is because you were an XBE. And I just want to be candid about this. 30 years ago, you couldn't come out the closet. 30 years ago, the World War II veterans were the captains of industry. They ran EDS, they ran IBM, they ran a lot of companies. So the Vietnam vets and other vets, there was no issues going on there with them 30 years ago. And so and then clearly we know where we were with race relations and women at that point, and race relations being Hispanic American, Asian American, Indian American, Indigenous or Native American. We know where we were 30 years ago. And so 30 years ago, 70% of the reason why you weren't getting opportunities was probably because you were an XBE. Fast forward to now, to today. I would say 30% of the reason why you're not getting an opportunity is because you're an XBE. And I can say that with confidence because we see a number of XBEs that look like you and me winning business, $1 million, multi-million dollar, billion-dollar contracts every day. It is occurring. We cannot stick our head in the ground saying that, oh no, they're not doing business with me because I'm an X. No. So what's changed is that what's occurred over the last 30 years is accelerating. And it's accelerating not because it's a good thing to do. It's accelerating because large corporations have figured out that their employee base and their supplier base needs to reflect their customer base. And if 50% of your customers are women and 70% of your customers are women and minorities, then what you've done is you have created, bringing in the innovation, expertise, and ingenuity of XBEs into your supply chain and getting messages and products across that appeal to a broader category of your existing customers. In other words, you can get more of their market share because you're getting products that are produced by people who look like them.
No, you're absolutely right. And what the message I'm hearing from the corporations are that they need to have their supply base and their employees mirror the populations in which they live, work, and play. So these are, until we have the same diverse mix, the same populations, the same amount of folks and suppliers, they're not going to be happy, and they're driving and they want to demonstrate that they are making a difference. But I will tell you what you said earlier is 100% true, that it's not just about choosing a company because they're diverse. It's because they've got the quality, the delivery, the responsiveness, the cost. All of those things have to be there, and they're going to choose a diverse business, and that's the win-win ticket.
The innovation, yes.
With that, why don't we take a few questions? If you have any questions, please go ahead and type them into that box that you see on your screen right there, and I'll give you guys just a moment to do that. And as you're typing, Adam, have we received any? And when we get one, can you let us know?
Yeah, we've got a couple questions. So the first one, pretty straight to the point. How do I get started?
We're going to provide some contact information at the end of the deck. You can reach out to the Diversity Consortium directly, and we can talk with you more if this is something you're interested in about what this prospectively and potentially can mean to your company.
Awesome. Adam, we have any more?
Yeah, our second question is, can I go right to gold, the gold tier?
We'll have a conversation with you about what really makes sense. It doesn't really make sense for you to jump into something that you might not be ready for. But the short answer is, if you feel like you wanted to go straight to gold, you absolutely can. We'd recommend that you look at these 4 positions and look at where you currently are in your business and look at the books of business that you're potentially trying to go after and right size which one of these makes the most sense for where you currently are. But the flip side of that question is, do you have to start at bronze and go up to platinum? And the answer is no. We can start you where it makes the sense, so if you wanted to start at platinum, if you wanted to start at silver, you absolutely can.
Got it. That makes perfect sense. Well, I'd like to be respectful of people's time. So, Adam, why don't we take just one more question?
All right. Next question.
I'm sorry, Adam. Before we take that question, if you have asked a question and we haven't answered your question, rest assured that we're going to provide answers to everybody's questions via email at the email address that you registered to for this webinar.
All right, and our third question is, once I am vetted, am I guaranteed a contract?
Rob, I'm going to let you have that one.
Thank you so much. As we all know, there's very few things that are guaranteed in life, and winning a contract with vetting is not a guarantee. But I will tell you this, from our seat here at the Diversity Consortium, we get asked every day from corporations to help them find businesses like yours. And we have the ability to go out and run database searches, but the challenge that we have is just as you would imagine, right? We run a search and we get 1,000. And with that 1,000, I could pass along all 1,000 to the corporation, but they're going to look at that and go, yeah, thanks. But they don't want to read 1,000. They want us to tell them of the 1,000 which ones have met their criteria, right? So So the real answer here is that by going through this tiered vetted bench, it allows you to stand out and be different than your peers. Even though you may all have the same qualifications, if you went through all of this process for them, now we're going to tell them that you're already a silver, you're already a gold, you're already a platinum supplier. And because of that, that's going to give them some assurance, much like it's a consistency. They're going to know what they're getting when they go and they select that kind of supplier. So I wouldn't say the word guarantee. Matter of fact, I'll tell you it is not a guarantee, but I will tell you that it certainly gives you a competitive advantage to be recognized, and that's a difference that makes a whole lot of difference to a corporation. So with all that said, thank you so much. You've been listening to the XBE Thrive series here from the Diversity Consortium. Our next Thrive event is we're going to talk about the 10 biggest challenges for XBEs. It's coming up next week or in 2 weeks on the 28th at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. And to remind you as well that we also offer every month these micro topics of which you're listening to today from Randall and the Tiered Vetted Bench, but there's a couple handfuls of other topics as well. So if you're interested, please check out our website. Our website is there at the bottom left corner. It's thediversityconsortium.com. And again, I'm Rob Travia. On behalf of Randall and myself, we thank you for your time. I really appreciated you being here and look forward to speaking with you soon. Thank you all. Have a great afternoon and goodbye.